Good morning from St. Thomas Virgin Islands. We have, at this point, a little under 10 hours, maybe 9 hours at port. And we're gonna see how much we can actually do at this city or at this port. I feel like the cruise dropped us off in the worst side of the island because it's a 35-minute walk to Charlotte Amalie. And I was expecting us to actually be in real Charlotte Amalie. There's not Uber or anything like that. I don't know how much a cab is gonna cost, but a 35-minute walk each way is kind of excessive. So join us today as we are in St. Thomas. What I've noticed so far on this walk is that when we docked at 7 o'clock, most businesses don't open until 9 or 10 here. So everything's closed. I don't know why we docked so early. And then we leave early. We leave at, we have to be back on the ship by 5:30. So we've been walking for about 15 minutes, and let me tell you, it's really difficult to find a walking path from that port to the main road. And we just passed a sign that said it was another 30 minutes from that point to the center of town. I don't know if walking is the best option. They have tons of taxis, but I can tell you that that dock that we went to, probably one of the worst spots that it could be. It is officially 35-minute mark, nowhere close to town at this point. I have noticed that they're driving on the left side of the road. I wasn't expecting that, but there's no rideshare apps here. So there's no Uber, there's no Lyft. You're at the discretion of the taxi drivers. I recommend taking the taxi from the port. So after about an hour of walking from the port, we've made it to Main Street of Charlotte Amalie. Everything's closed, but the buildings and all the doors really feels like you're in real life Pirates of the Caribbean, which makes sense because Blackbeard's castle is here. So this is really, truly a pirates area or a pirates cove. So let's walk around the historic Main Street area. I've noticed there's a lot of designer jewelry and watches and designer clothes, all these really high-end shops here. You got Rolex and Dolce, all things that I can't afford. We ducked into the Virgin Islands Ice Cream Company. This is right off of Main Street. It was really hot and we needed a place to sit after walking an hour. And they have two signature ice creams. I ordered the rum raisin. They also have a sour sop ice cream and I tasted it and I don't know how to describe that flavor. But the rum raisin was really, really good. I spoke with the workers at the ice cream place and they said that the only way to get around town is either A, they called it the Safari, which is their shuttle service, which if you're a local should cost you $2 each way. If you're not a local, it could cost you $5 to $10. Or you can get a taxi, and the taxis are cash only. Everything is cash only. If you are needing cash, there is a bank right next to the Tourist Information Center on the main strip, but I would bring cash. There's a lot of walking. You're kind of stuck, no credit cards. Oh, and the taxis charge per person, not for the whole route. So just keep that in mind. Now, across from the bank is this little local market that is set up during cruise ship porting. So let's go check out what type of goods they have. So behind me is the 99 steps, which this staircase was built in the 1700s from the ship barracks. It leads up to scenic views of St. Thomas. It's really not that far from Main Street, and it's behind the governor's mansion. And it is the only way to get up to Blackbeard's castle. So join me as I walk up all 99 steps, getting my cardio for today, because the hour walk from the port wasn't enough walking. So the 99 steps actually weren't bad. It was actually the hill after the 99 steps that was a little bad. But it's really cool to walk through the historic neighborhoods up here. And again, the architecture is colonial, and it really feels like you're in Pirates of the Caribbean. So we've made it up to Blackbeard's Castle, which is kind of like a little resort on top of one of the hills. And there's this really old tower that you can go in. For the cost of $15, you not only get admission in here, you get a rum tasting, a complimentary cocktail, free access to the pool, and extremely crazy views of the Bay of St. Thomas. I would highly recommend coming over here, especially if you aren't making the trek over to Megan's Bay, and really just to like see the views, because the views are incredible up here. This is the view from the top of the tower at Blackbeard's Castle. And it really is panoramic views up here. Seeing all the rolling hills coming out of the water and the little cove that the cruise ship is tucked behind. It's really cool up here. The water is so blue. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this before. I forgot to mention that if you have a child under 12, their admission is free to come in here. So it's a good way to get a free cocktail, rum tasting. Children can be at the pool and cool down, having a great view, and see a little bit of history of St. Thomas. So I went up to the bar and I asked what was the best drink to get more locally for the free drink that comes over here, and she said, I got you. And she made me a rum punch that has 4 different rums: a light rum, a dark rum, a coconut rum, a citrus rum, had lime juice, grenadine, maybe a splash of like pineapple in there. And she was like, this is my signature recipe for this. Let's try this drink. Wow, you can't even taste that there is that much rum in this. This is dangerous. So it just so happened that one of the local historians was sitting at the bar next to me, and I was like, tell me something that I'm missing about St. Thomas or this property or whatnot. And he talked my ear off for like 30 minutes. All I have to say is the Blackbeard that we know, the ones that the statues are around this property, is fictional. And actually St. Thomas, although has colonial looking buildings, and we may think that it's pirates, it was actually owned by the Danish. And then the Danish would use the island to capture people through the trade winds. And yeah, there's just a ton of history about emancipation here. Yeah, there was a lot that he said, none of which I've heard about in school or history and whatnot. It's just really, really fascinating. So this house behind me is a pilgrimage spot where the old governor used to live that helped to lead the emancipation movement in St. Thomas. And it apparently was the only emancipation movement that was non-violent. So people from foreign countries come here just to touch the building to pay homage to the emancipation movement. So we walked back into town and it started to rain. So this restaurant that we're in for lunch is called Gladys. And a lot of the people that I talked to in town actually suggested this as a place to get authentic Caribbean food. So I ordered conch soup, which is like, it looks like it's a cream-based soup. And then I got jerk chicken, rice with snow peas in it. And then it's got like cabbage and other vegetables. This place also has house-made hot sauces. So I asked to try one of the hot sauces and they're like, oh, we only have the tomato one open. And let me tell you, it was tasty. It had chunks of tomato in it. It would definitely be white people spicy. The conch soup reminds me of a New England, sorry, the jerk chicken snuck up on me. The conch soup reminds me of like a New England clam chowder. It's super creamy. Conchs bits are really small. Really good flavor. The jerk chicken is more like oily than it has, more oily than rub. And it's like a smashed chicken breast. It has really good flavor. The rice and the vegetables are spot on, wonderful. I recommend this place if you're looking for something authentic to the island, as opposed to going to a restaurant and getting burgers and fries, which you could get on your cruise ship anyway. Before going back to the ship, I wanted to check out the port area around Paradise Point, or at least where the cable cars are. This is where I originally thought we were going to be going this morning, because there's a lot of local like cafes and coffee roasters and everything. But again, this morning at the Royal Caribbean port, everything was closed. And actually, it seems like a lot of things have been closed today, including the cable cars, even though cable cars were expensive and I wasn't gonna do that anyway. But I feel like there's way more to offer on this end of town than by the Royal Caribbean port, which is called Crown Bay. So if you're going to Crown Bay, just be prepared that you're gonna have to either take a safari or a taxi or a shuttle, and you definitely need cash. You need cash here. All right, so here are some of my final takeaways and final thoughts for St. Thomas, Virgin Islands from Royal Caribbean Adventure of the Sea. Number one, the big reason why it's cash only on the island is because there are rolling blackouts, and oftentimes people lose cell service often, and so because they can't rely on credit cards because of cell service and internet, then cash is what talks. So you have to be really mindful to make sure that you have cash on hand. Even at our lunch today, the internet was down, so we had to pay cash for lunch. Number two, we were without cell phone service for maybe 3 hours, and then it popped back up, but not every cell phone service was like that. Today, AT&T had service during that blackout time. They also, like I said, have rolling blackouts. So recently we were just in a store and all the lights and everything turned off for like 10 seconds and then it came back on. And then my final thing that I will say is when trying to get transportation here, there's a couple of different options. There's the taxis, which are going to nickel and dime you because you're a tourist. You have to make sure that you have enough cash on hand and they charge you per person. Number two, you could take what they call the safari. And as the people here told me, you have to look for the most local looking people on those taxis in order to know that it's actually a safari. And those per person are $2 each way, which really that's not bad. And then I guess they're trying to develop an Uber-like app here. It's called Carry. free, and you can get like food delivery, you can get rideshare and everything. And I think that's probably the only way that you may be able to use credit card to get around the island. So if you're in Crown Bay, I think this is a terrible place to get off. If you're near Paradise Point, that's closer to everything in town. You do want to see the real main street of Charlotte Amalie, but don't walk. Absolutely don't walk. So yeah, thank you for joining me on our journey in St. Thomas Virgin Islands. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, let me know in the comments. Put recommendations of food or shops or anything local. Obviously, we didn't make it out to Megan's Bay because transportation was so difficult to find. I almost forgot. If you don't make it out to Megan's Bay, the locals suggest either going to Emerald Beach or Brewers Beach. Brewers Beach, you can see a lot of sea turtles, and that's actually, both of those beaches are relatively close to the Crown Bay pier for Royal Caribbean, so you may be even able to walk over there. But don't take my word on that. I didn't do it, and obviously when walking, use caution because things are further away than they look. So if you like what you saw and you want to see more, click that subscribe button, that bell notification, and we hope to see you in the next one.